Rice and beans, what is up? Thanks for tuning in again. This is another week. This is another day. This is another episode. We're here today with Kanak Gupta.
Yeah, you were right. Hi, it's nice to meet you, Isaac. This is the first time I'm seeing you.
Hi there. So what ethnocultural identity are you representing today? You know, where are you from? What's your heritage?
So, I am 100% Indian, except apparently 0.2% Siberian.
Oh, did you do a 21?
23 I mean. I did it for the health part.
The health part? Okay.
Yeah, but then the ancestry came with it.
Okay,
And
that's
I was
cool.
like, it's going to be 100% South Asian, but apparently it's 0.2% Siberian.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I guess it's the same continent. Anyway, so were you born in India?
Yeah, I was born in India, and then I lived there for 14 years, and then I moved to Dubai, and I'm living there now, if you don't count being in Baltimore as, being home.
Mm-hmm. And where were you born in India, and like what was it like? What was the general? If you could paint a quick picture for our listeners.
Okay, so I was born in West India. It's a small town near Mumbai. It's called Aurangabad. It's known for like its historical sites and stuff. There's like a World Heritage site there. They have like these monolithic caves and everything. It's still a pretty smallish town. It's very pretty in the monsoons. And that's pretty much it, I guess. It's kind of conservative, so I didn't like it there much. But
What do you mean by conservative?
well, I would get stares if I wore like shorts or something,
Oh, I see.
Or
Wait, so what would be the norm then in terms of attire?
attire? It would be like Indian clothes, sort of like they're called salwar kameez. So it's like they're like leggings basically with like a longer tunic-ish top. Sometimes it comes up to your thigh. They look very pretty, or like saris and stuff. I've been like teenagers don't wear saris. They do wear like denims and like Western clothes and stuff. Like pretty much all my friends did, but it's still like not the norm there. It's more of like like the newer kids kind of thing.
I see. That sounds pretty cool. Why do you think it's more conservative than perhaps another city, perhaps the neighboring Mumbai?
I mean, it's small. It's not really like a big city town kind of thing. Almost everyone there was like born there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. My dad is actually North Indian. He moved there for an engineering college thing, and he just stayed there for some reason.
That's really cool. And what was the name of this place one more time?
Aurangabad.
Aurangabad.
Yeah, you should Google Ajanta and Ellora caves. It's like Aganta. And Ellora, which is Ellora.
Thank you for the spelling. It's very important. So you spent 14 years in this town.
Yeah.
What do people there do for fun besides go and check out all those historical exhibits and caves?
You can't go there like every day.
know.
Yeah, they take us to like school trips there, but mostly, I don't know, like there were restaurants and stuff we used to hang out at. We didn't actually have a mall until I was 12, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. And when there was a mall, everyone called it the biggest mall in Asia. I was like, nah, you're lying. It wasn't the biggest mall. And it was supposed to expand after it opened. It never did. It was like all the same still. So we used to go there. There was like a bowling rink and stuff. But that was pretty much it. Oh, they had a KFC and people lost their shit.
Really?
Yeah.
A KFC?
Yeah. KFC is pretty big in India, but like not in like small towns and stuff, like like Mumbai.
That's why I'm so astonished.
Yeah. So they opened a KFC, and it was so crowded for the first few like months there, all the time. And then when I went back recently, like last year, they had a McDonald's.
Oh God. Okay.
People were
there's the
losing
reach
their
of
shit.
Yeah, there's the reach of those fast food restaurant chains.
Yeah.
What is your opinion of that? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it a neutral thing? Anywhere in between the spectrum?
I mean, it makes people happy, right? It's like cheap food. It's American food. I'm waiting for a Starbucks. People will lose their shit. But yeah, like I think it's nice. I don't think it like really harms the local businesses there much because there's like one in the whole town.
Oh.
But
One local business?
like local. No.
Oh.
I mean, a McDonald's
One
or
McDonald's.
a KFC.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of them, so it's not like they're getting all the fare. Plus, it's not everyone who goes there.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, donut industries, like, I don't know, like Dunkin' Donuts and shit, are doing so badly in India.
That's strange. Why one would do better than the other?
Because Indians don't eat dessert for breakfast.
That's true. That's pretty American.
Yeah.
And French also eat lots of pastries and whatnot. But I think on average, I agree with you that as long as it's making people happy, I think that it's an overall good force. And especially the main negative thing that I would see about that would be that it would be detrimental to the local businesses, which apparently doesn't seem that bad. Hopefully, I mean, I doubt that there's other hamburger places.
There are burger places, but like they still get like the same fare, you know. McDonald's can only hold like, I don't know, like 30 people.
Oh, I
guess.
see. Is it always packed?
Yeah, always.
Oh, wow.
They have birthday parties there.
They do. Yeah, actually, so the way we look at Chipotle here, for example, in comparison, is the way that the French have their McDonald's. It's like that caliber of restaurant. I mean, I know they're both owned by the same company and all that stuff, but it's like a restaurant. It's not a fast food joint where you just quickly go in the drive-thru and get a burger. And the way you describe it makes it seem like that too.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that. Yeah, some people do the drive-through thing, but I feel like it's more of an event when you go to McDonald's.
Yeah, it's an event,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Birthday parties. Have you ever been to one?
No,
I have.
I moved out before.
Oh, I see.
You know, I left. But you have been to a birthday party at McDonald's?
Yeah, we were like 4. You know, run around in the play jungle that they used to have and get all sorts of good bacterial exposure for our immune systems. It was good times. It's actually a really good resource. Really grateful. But anyway, so back to Indian culture and stuff. So what do you think is the exemplary Indian dish? Since this is rice and beans, we love to talk about food a lot. Food's a great access point to learning about other cultures.
There's so much. Like, it's hard for me to pin it down. Just mostly because, like, India's, like, so many regions together, and they kind of have, like, a lot of different cuisines. So you can, like, pick one of your favorite from each cuisine, but you can't really compare them to the other.
All right, what about your region then?
I think it would be... My favorite is chaat, which is, like, street food in India. You kind of get them at, like, tiny vendors and stuff. And they have this thing called pani puri, which is... It's actually, pani puri I think is pretty like all over India. It has different names in different parts, but I think there's no one who doesn't like pani puri.
And what is this?
So it's basically sort of like, it's a fried flour thing, and it's like a boat sort of thing. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It's like
It's a vessel.
It's a vessel, right? Like if it's the size of like a big coin, I guess. And you make like a hole in it because it's inflated, so there's empty space inside it. You make a hole in it, and then there's like these spicy water things. It's like made with mint and chilies and like garlic and stuff. It tastes heavenly.
Spicy water?
Yeah, it's spicy water.
Huh.
Okay, like
Very
it's not
interesting.
like it's not like water colored. It's like very dark green, right? It's not like
I see.
It's not like a mojito.
Is it thick?
It's not thick. It's not the consistency of water per se, but think like if you ground up mint leaves, very like,
okay.
you know,
Kind of like not necessarily a paste, but a very liquidy paste.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm trying to imagine it right now. That's why.
You gotta have it to imagine it. It's very hard. And then you have like a tamarind chutney with it, and you mix the two, and then you also sometimes put like potatoes in it or peas, but like they're boiled peas, and they, you know, there's like whole weird preparation for them, and it's like pretty spicy, and then you put it all in your mouth and it kind of bursts. It's so good. It's
it sounds delicious.
It kind of engages every flavor in your palate at the same time.
All your flavor, what's it called? Gustatory receptors.
Yeah,
it's been a while since I reviewed that, but I'll hold off on that for now. This is not the scope of the of the podcast. But so actually, I think you're the very first South Asian to be on this podcast, which is miraculous, given that we're at Johns Hopkins.
Yeah, I am very confused by this.
So there are so many questions that we can talk about. For example, first thing that comes to mind is Bollywood.
Yeah.
What is Bollywood?
So Bollywood in the West is like a very like musical thing, I guess, like very over the top. That's kind of the perception of Bollywood. I think like I would say like the 80s 90s films were kind of like that, honestly, like at least like the big moneymaker commercial films, because the point of them is for like pure escapism, right? Like the reason you see like a very
Yes.
Broadway musical.
Yeah, like a fantasized reality.
Yeah, but for cheaper. And like it was pretty. It's a very big industry, but I think like my favorite stuff is less like, you know, commercially made. And there's a lot of good Bollywood movies. Like there's a lot of stuff that's less like, you know, dance and pop and stuff, and
Yeah.
more like deals with very interesting issues and like really good storylines and actually good characters.
So besides just being produced in India, what makes a Bollywood film Bollywood? Like, why would you define that as Bollywood?
They speak in Hindi. Actually, there's also like a Tollywood industry in India, which they speak in like South Indian languages, or I think it's South Indian, because there's also a Bengali film industry. But Bollywood's like the biggest, because I think like a lot of people in India speak Hindi, so you know, more.
What other
accessible.
languages do they have besides those three?
Um,
Because you said that there's a lot of different subcultures in India.
I also speak Marathi because that's the area I grew up in. So that's in Maharashtra. That's where Mumbai is. And then you have in South India you have what, like Kannada, Telugu, Tamil. I'm missing one. Malayalam, right? Then in the east you have Bengali. Towards the north you have like Punjabi and like different dialects of Hindi. The north is more where like Hindi is spoken the most. That's where kind of it originates. There's like very many different dialects of Hindi, and then if you go like more north, it's more like Nepali Hindi, that kind of thing. But yeah, there is a lot of languages in India.
And do they all originate from like one parent language, or do they just, were they all, I guess historically for a longer period of time, kind of divided initially, and then taking influences from the periphery? For example, their neighbors to the north, or perhaps colonialists from England.
I'm pretty sure. So I think most of it is Sanskrit, right? Like they kind of originated from Sanskrit. Most languages in general, like along that belt, are like you know like Indo-European languages. So a lot of them have Sanskrit roots. But I think it's also that they divided a long time ago. So they were like, you know, they evolved in very different ways.
Yeah.
But I think like if I'm listening to like any of them, I tend to like I can usually find like a word or two that I actually can like figure out in there, even if they're like very different from my languages. I think South Indian languages are hard for me to understand, but if you're like more in the northern part of India, I can pretty much like, you know, get the gist of most of the language.
I see. Very interesting. Diversity of languages and parallel coevolution. Let's see, what else? Oh, yes. The other component besides speaking the language in Bollywood film is the dancing. And at Hopkins, there seem to be endless dance groups here that represent South Asia. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about the different styles of dancing? Like Bhangra or something? So
Bhangra is like very Punjab specific. It's like North Indian. It's very energetic. Like, fuck Zumba, like you gotta do Bhangra if you want to burn those calories.
What is it characterized by? Like, how does the energy manifest itself?
I think like Punjabi culture in itself is like a very like, you know, like celebratory culture because it's been a very agricultural place. So they have a lot of like harvest festivals and all of that kind of things. And yeah, it's like a very like wedding-y dance and everyone's happy. Oh. So, you know, you kind of get like a lot of energy there. And then you have like classical dancing in India, and there's like so many forms of it because they're also like all over India. You have like Bharatnatyam. I think there's a group at Hopkins that does that. Classical Indian dance? Yeah. But there's also a bunch of like, that's a particular form. That's Bharatnatyam, right? And then there's more. There's like Kathakali, there's Kathak, there's, I don't know, I don't remember their names. I feel like I learned this in like 4th grade.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like a lot of different dance forms in India. Then you have like Bollywood dancing, which has more like Western influences on it too, and it's more like modern, I guess, and doesn't take 10 years to learn.
Oh.
Classical
okay.
dancing has like years.
Oh,
to
so it's
it.
similar to ballet in that respect, where
Yeah.
you start extremely young and you're
Yeah.
still not going to be good for like your whole life.
Yeah, it takes you like 10 years to become like an instructor.
Is
for
it, is
I
it
guess.
extremely strict?
Yeah, very strict. I tried it for 1 year and I was like, nope,
I
not
see.
for me. Yeah, it's a tough dance. It hurts
Yeah.
your legs.
Oh, that means it must be very exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's very like expressionist. That's not the right word, but like the expressions are like very important to the dance because they're usually like narratives. So there's a whole story to them, and you kind of have like gestures and stuff and like facial expressions, and
Yeah.
you kind of tell this whole
Very similar to
tale.
ballet. Very, very interesting. And then I guess it also has a very rich and long culture. Sorry to
Yeah.
keep drawing comparisons to this European dance, but it makes it a little bit more accessible, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like we're running out of time here. So thanks for joining us today. I guess we're going to have to learn more about Indian culture from our next South Asian guest. Whoever that may be, there's only one way to find out. That's on Rice and Beans. You know how we do it here. Don't forget to check out the weekly selections. That playlist gets updated every single week. Meticulously chosen songs are present there. And also check out that to-go box playlist that has every song we've ever played ever in history in the existence of Rice and Beans. All right, this has been Isaac, and
I'm Kanak.
goodbye. Have a great week, everyone.